off of a faction. So as a result, you can create an ongoing idea and element, and this is where programs comes in. That was mentioned in faction, and it's also something that you would use in, it starts in faction, this idea of programming, NPCs. In the odds, that's where you can basically, or the programs would kind of be pre-established, or you can tinker the program here and there. You can tell a thing. You tell an NPC, and this is the game in the odds, I want you to do this, and then you watch the NPC go about its business, or the NPC would say, all right, this is what I'm going to do, and then you can tinker it here and there. You can just tell it what to do. So now imagine the same aspect is applied into Sword for Hire. So now you can get an NPC, or you can put out, the way I imagine it is that you have a bulletin board as the center of your community, and that way it can have an unlimited number of messages and notes and stuff like that. So a player can say, I'm an I am available for hire if you want me to do whatever. A player could say, I need a job filled, and an NPC could do the same thing. Say, I need a job, I need a position filled. So that way a player or an NPC could come, take care of it. MMO aspect, a GM, a game manager, could take care of the issue. So that way, no player, a player could establish their own kind of community, own kingdom, own city, whatever, and think, oh yeah, I got everything perfect, and then the GM could say, no, you don't, and kind of screw it up for him. But the other aspect is that players could decide, well, no, I'm going to mess with you. I'm going to try to rob from you. I'm going to try to do this or that from you, and so then you have other aspects like that. Something else is that in Sword for Hire, the single-player version, and and this can carry over into the MMO aspect, you have this idea of you can leave calling cards, you can have costumes, so you dress the same, and it's kind of like in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where what you wore affected how people interacted with you. So the same aspect. So if you have a more elaborate costume, it may gain, some people may laugh at you, but then also it makes you more recognizable, and so there's more esteem, to your group. I got this all written down somewhere, but I had different values, different of what it means, or different things. So there's a value for how people view your group. So you can stay an honorable group, or be a despicable group, and people will either give you business or not. So that's the other aspect and element of gameplay that players would like. In the MMO version, I imagine that I think players would dig it because there's no classes. There are positions that may be required here and there that the player can decide to fill, but otherwise there are no classes. And the players can decide, hey, we're going to be our own unit, organization. So I can imagine that, the Something Awful Goons, the Goon Squad, that they would catch wind, of this game. And as a result, they would just form their own kingdom. And they'd just be this massive, juggernaut, they'd be unstoppable. And so if I did make the game, I would finally say, all right, look, guys, I'll create a separate land. You guys can rule that land. Just, let everybody else play. Stop ruining everybody else's, game. And hopefully they would they would accept. But and then the other aspect is then that way, hey, guess what? Everybody now will work against the goons if they want to, and the goons will say, oh, cool, we always got a challenge coming at us. Because this is the playability, the replayability. So it's kind of like it's an open playing field. Everybody is the same, which is a little boring, but the amount of variability is almost limitless. In an MMO aspect, the other thing that I want players to have, or the players would want to have, in my opinion, is customization. And the way you do that is through modding programs and hacking programs, whatever. But that's encouraged. So literally, a player can say, I want to design a building that looks like this, or has this sort of arrangement. So that way it's harder for thieves to get in, or I can house this many people, or I can have this sort of arrangement, or I can make a factory kind of thing. And submits it to the GMs. GMs, get together, decide, and decide to incorporate it to the game or not. And I think that the other area that people would really dig would be like wagons. So you can decide what kind of wagons you want. The other aspect is that everything has a quality and a value to it. So wood, different types of wood have different qualities. Different metals have different qualities, and this and that, and so on. The result is you can be a very skilled craftsman and just say, I only deal with the best. Give me the best quality wood, the best quality metal, the best quality this and that, and I'll produce products that are this quality. And that's the other skill quality. And if you're in charge of a factory that produces items, because you're in charge of it, you can then build up and develop a managerial skill, an efficiency skill for that. And the same can be given and applied to if you're a military commander, of how effective your men are at this or that. On top of the sword for hire MMO, and then with the customization and like wagons you can have. So you can breed your character, your avatar, and have different qualities and strengths and traits, and choose your mate, your mates as a result. And so that way you want to try to get the best kind of mate you have that will either add to or not take away from your the attributes that you're going to pass on to an offspring, which the player will eventually control. You can do that with horses as well. So you can get high quality horses that'll have their own traits and qualities. And then there's wagons, which you can make as elaborate as you can, kind of thing. Like there'll be certain archetypes that you can use, but otherwise the player can decide, all right, I want a wagon that looks like this. So I think that'd be an interesting aspect. Then the next iteration of the game would be gun for hire. Take same game mechanics, same game world layout. Now add gunpowder and steam to the equation. So then you can start making engines, steam engines, which require so much fuel, and also have a certain efficiency. So if you become a craftsman, you're like, all right, how efficient are you in making this sort of thing? Same with gunpowder, and now you can add in steam, or you can add in boats. So you can have sailboats, steamboats, and battleships, and this is where area effect would come in, into play. And before I forget, in Sword for Hire, you can have machines like ballista and catapults, scorpions, whatever else, along with crossbows. And the idea is that your mechanical skill will determine your efficiency with that sort of complicated weapon. And also you have an engineering skill, so that's part of that. And with that engineering skill, you can use that. That will determine how effectively you can build houses or castles, even. I mean, in Sword for Hire, you can even, I envision it that you can even go into somebody else's territory, build a castle, or put an army into it, and then the player won't even realize it. You just knock on his door and say, "Hey, guess what? I'm here. I claim this land as my own. Try to kick me out." And the two players can fight it out, and who knows what will happen from there. So for gun for hire, same idea. Just whatever sort of gunpowder weapons you can imagine. And then you can incorporate, the other aspect about the whole game is that you have medicine. You can only practice medicine when the players aren't moving, and your efficiency with medicine determines how many hit points you recover, sort of thing. So medicine has a little bit more enhanced in this new game, so you have like antiseptic, I guess. So imagine now the players can decide how they want to design their warships. So I think that's the other aspect of that. It's up to the players to, if they want to design something, or if they have a concept and they submit it to the GMs, then GMs try to make it happen, make it work. I got more if I have later.